be especially vigilant now for any kind of activity that might have been designed to go off automatically whenever Osama bin Laden was captured or killed.
Exactly right, George. Law enforcement officials have long had in place a plan that if bin Laden were killed, they expect some sort of retaliatory attack. So the entire intelligence community will be pulsing the security, looking for anything that suggests that something could be coming. But I want to go back for a second to this notion of the symbolism. Every senior law enforcement and intelligence official I've talked to over the last decade has talked about the need to get this man for the murder of nearly 3,000 people. And you can be talking to them, and you will see their eyes sometimes almost nearly tear up when they talk about it. But they didn't want to talk about it all that open on a regular basis because they knew that that would set up expectations. But believe me, throughout the government tonight, these officials are ecstatic. One official I talked to earlier who was giving information about this said this is one of the greatest days in memory because they all remember those faces of people showing up in New York and in Washington with pictures of loved ones that were missing. So this is a huge night for U.S. law enforcement and intelligence.
For the entire country. Exactly right, Pierre Thomas. I want to go. We have a webcam of Ground Zero right now, a live shot of Ground Zero. And as we go to that, I do want to go back to Richard Clark. Richard, it was your job across many White Houses every single day to track Osama bin Laden. If you could reflect a little bit more on what this means to you personally and the people you work with.
Oh, yeah.
Richard Clark.
And from the military, the program to use the predators to find him has finally succeeded. And I always believed this would be the only way we could find him and do something about that information when we got it. So it's satisfying, and it's satisfying to see that the Obama administration's plan of really turning up the heat with these predator strikes is what I think smoked him out, kept him moving, and they found him on the move.
And Richard, talk a little bit more about what kind of preparations would be in place right now inside the government to guard against any kind of follow-on strikes by al-Qaeda.
Well, George, there's an overall contingency plan that the White House has put together for when this happens. And Mossers seeing it and describing it from one end, which is the secrecy, the meetings, the limited access meetings, the attempt to get the DNA, all of that is part of the plan that's been worked out in advance. The other part, of course, is to step up security at key U.S. facilities around Afghanistan, Pakistan, elsewhere in the Middle East. And orders are going out tonight to all of those posts to step up security just in case there is some sort of protest or there is some sort of spontaneous attack.
Okay, and let's pause as you were just speaking. Richard Clark, thanks very much. That is the picture from Ground Zero, 9/11/2001. 2 planes ordered by Osama bin Laden going to the World Trade Center. 2,974 Americans dead. Brian Ross, no doubt people will be flocking to that site tomorrow.
Indeed, and I think the death of bin Laden will raise questions about who, if anyone, has been protecting him if in fact he was killed in Pakistan. We're getting reports now that it was U.S. ground forces who were involved in this. If that took place in Pakistan, that would raise its own questions, although ground forces from the U.S. are not supposed to operate inside Pakistan. But the larger question is, in those years that he's been on the run, who has protected him? Who has helped hide him? And that's one of the, I think, the questions that needs to unravel. Once the jubilation is over, there will be serious issues regarding that.
And you're saying now that we are getting reports now that it may have been U.S. ground forces who took him. His body is in custody, and that gets into the whole question of what the rules of engagement were for Osama bin Laden, whether he was to be captured or killed. No, everyone believed, of course, that he would fight to the death.
He reportedly had given his bodyguards orders that he was not to be taken alive, that their instructions were to kill him should it get to the point where he was about to be captured. He expected that. He boasted that. Just looking at some of the old tapes, George, that he issued in 2009, September, he said, Obama is a weakened man. He will never be able to stop this war. He taunted President Obama. He taunted President Bush, boasted of his ability to evade the U.S. manhunt and to continue operations.
And there were so many people inside and outside the United States government who never believed he could indeed be caught or killed.
Right, and it was the perseverance of both the CIA and the military. They could find him. It is at really the end of the earth when you go to the areas where he has been hiding. Nevertheless, they developed ways to look into caves, to track purchases of food in those regions. They believed he's traveling with a large group of people, and that required certain logistics, and that's one of the things they were looking for. Is they looked in these areas, was there a purchase of large amounts of rice? Was there gasoline for cars? And the thought was that would help track him down. And this information, Jonathan Karl is reporting that the information now is that the U.S. ground forces were involved and going after bin Laden, tracking him down, and that all around him were killed in apparently a very fierce battle.
And that his body will be buried at sea. David Muir's here at the desk as well. We're starting to get some real-time reaction now.
You can see it traveling at lightning speed. This is one of the differences in the 10 years this country's been waiting for Osama bin Laden to be captured or killed. We don't have to wait until tomorrow to hear what the families of these victims are saying. It's all over Twitter and the social sphere. Someone writing, wow, Osama bin Laden is dead. God bless our military. Martha spoke to that a moment ago on the plane as she went to travel overseas, wondering how the troops must be feeling as we go into the evening hours here reporting this. Somebody else writing nearly a decade after the 9/11 attack, Osama bin Laden is finally dead. Someone else simply writes, oh my God, Osama bin Laden dead, finally justice. This country's reacting already.
And it will be immense. Tomorrow I want to go to Mike Betcher now. He's in Kabul. He's been embedded with the troops in Afghanistan. God bless our troops, the word on Twitter, Mike Betcher. There is just going to be an electric reaction as they find out.
Absolutely, George. I just left an embed right on the Pakistan border in Kunar province just a couple of days ago. And in one operation, we lost 6 soldiers. We have video of that we shot. It aired on ABC. And the soldiers kept charging on. They kept charging on for the soldier to the right and left. But, you know, a lot of times when you're out there, you lose your buddies in the field. You know, they ask questions, you know, what are we doing? And now bin Laden is dead, and I can't tell you the impact that is going to have on troops out there. It's going to be tremendous because they have made so many sacrifices. The terrain on the border alone is enough to kill somebody. They were going after Taliban and Al-Qaeda operatives operating on that border, and this operation we were on took 9 days. And as I said, 6 were killed, and people were exhausted at the end of it. These soldiers have just now left to go home. They've been transferred out, and I can tell you it will have a great impact on them as they reflect on that sacrifice that they did here in Afghanistan.
And Mike, it comes at such an important time in Afghanistan as the Taliban expected to try to launch a major offensive.
Well, yes, George, and that is a great concern here. Yesterday, they said they were beginning their spring offensive. Now, what is of great concern here is suicide bombers. There is a report in a province south of here that a 12-year-old strapped with explosives detonated a suicide vest, killed himself and others. I have videotape that I have obtained just recently of a 14-year-old girl wearing a burqa. She's sitting with her father, and she's saying that she trained with others in Pakistan for suicide attacks. A young boy was arrested in Pakistan before he could blow up his vest, and he said he trained with 350 others in a camp in North Waziristan, which is that outlaw province that even the Pakistanis will not go into, that he trained with 3